Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today our topic is Escherichia coli or E. coli. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the general characteristics, pathogenesis, lab diagnosis or the biochemical test of E. coli. In this video, we will discuss some mechanisms that are associated with the gastroenteritis or the diarrhea and the different subtypes of E. coli. As we know that the E. coli are the part of our normal microbial flora. So, some strains of the E. coli have the beneficial functions because they may prevent the establishment of the human to the intestinal tract. But some pathogenic strains are also associated with the diarrheal diseases. So, here we have some pathogenic E. coli or the subtypes of the E. coli that are associated with the diarrheal diseases or the gastroenteritis. These pathogenic E. coli may be non-invasive or invasive. In the non-invasive, we have the toxigenic because it will produce the toxins, and these are the enterotoxigenic E. coli. And what type of toxins they produce? They will produce heat labile toxins or heat stable toxins. In later, we will discuss in detail. On the other hand, we have the invasive E. coli. These are maybe non-toxigenic or toxigenic. In the non-toxigenic, we have the enteropathogenic E. coli or enteroinvasive E. coli, and in the toxigenic we have the enterohemorrhagic E. coli because it will produce the Shiga-like toxin. That's why it is associated with the toxigenic E. coli, and these Shiga-like toxins are also known as virotoxins. So here we have the different subtypes of E. coli. First we have enterotoxigenic E. coli or ETEC. Second we have enteropathogenic E. coli or EPEC. Third we have enterohemorrhagic E. coli or EHEC. Fourth we have EIEC, that is enteroinvasive E. coli, and in the last we have the EAEC or enteroaggregative E. coli. Now let's discuss one by one briefly. So here we have the E. coli gastroenteritis or the diarrhea. First we have the enteropathogenic E. coli, and it will cause the watery diarrhea or the pediatric diarrhea because it is mainly associated with the infants. And from pathogenic you can easily remember pathogenic or pediatric. And what is the mechanism of the enteropathogenic E. coli? When bacteria enters into the small intestine, it will cause the adhesion and also cause the lesions in the small intestine epithelial cells. And when it attaches to the small intestine epithelial cells, it will cause the destroying of microvilli brush borders. These are the microvilli brush borders. When bacteria attach to them, then it will destroy these microvilli. And as it adheres to the small intestine epithelial cell, so it does not produce any toxins. Next we have the enteroinvasive E. coli or EIEC, and it will cause the watery diarrhea. Then after it will cause the bloody diarrhea because they have the Shiga-like toxin that will cause the bloody diarrhea. And what is the mechanism of the enteroinvasive E. coli? When the bacteria enters, then it will invade the intestinal mucosa like this. The bacteria when enters, then it will invade the intestinal mucosa, and here we are going to have the large intestine involvement because when bacteria invades, then it will enters into the large intestine and where they cause the invasion. So here is the mechanism of enteroinvasive E. coli, and in this the Shiga-like toxins are involved, and the enteropathogenic no toxins are involved. In the enteroinvasive, the Shiga-like toxins are involved. So next we have the enterotoxigenic E. coli, and from toxigenic you can easily remember it will cause the traveler's diarrhea. And what is the mechanism of the enterotoxigenic E. coli? When bacteria enters into the small intestine, it will attach to the small intestine epithelial cells. When they attach to the small intestine epithelial cells, it will cause the production of enterotoxins that will cause the ions and the water loss, and in return it will cause the increase in the gastrointestinal secretions of the chlorine and the water and will cause the diarrhea or the watery massive diarrhea, not the bloody diarrhea but the traveler's diarrhea or the watery massive diarrhea. And what are these enterotoxins are involved? These are maybe the heat stable toxins or the heat labile toxin. And what is the function of these toxins? Let's discuss. The heat stable toxins will decrease the sodium absorptions and will increase the hypersecretion of the water. So in return, it will increase the cyclic GMP activity. So here we have the heat stable toxins. When heat stable toxins active, then it will cause the decrease the sodium absorption and the hypersecretion of the water into the lumen. This is the host cell, from host cell into the GI lumen. So in return it will increase the cyclic GMP activity. Second, we have the heat labile toxins. What will they do? It will increase the chloride secretions and decrease the sodium and the chlorine absorptions. In return, they will increase the cyclic AMP activity, and this will also lead to the massive watery diarrhea. So here we have the labile toxins. It will increase the secretion of the chlorine, while the other hand it will decrease the absorption of the sodium and the chlorine into the host cells. That will also lead to the watery massive diarrhea. And it does not cause the inflammation or the invasion, because when it's attached to the small intestine epithelial cells, it will cause the release of the enterotoxins. In the next, we have the enterohemorrhagic E. coli, and from hemorrhagic you can think it's the bloody diarrhea. And what is the mechanism of the enterohemorrhagic E. coli? It will cause the release of the cytokines into the vascular endothelial cells. And in the enterohemorrhagic E. coli, we have the most famous and the most popular serotypes, that are the O157H7, and O is going to be the cell wall antigen and H is going to be the flagellar antigen, and it will cause the Shiga-like toxin, so it will cause the bloody diarrhea. And this is the mainly associated with the hemolytic uremic syndrome and will also cause the thrombocytopenia or the anemia, and will cause the renal failure. As it is the enterohemorrhagic E. coli or the Shiga-like toxin, so in this the bug itself not involved, because it will cause the release of the some toxins, that are the Shiga-like toxins. So the bacteria when enters, it will produce the toxins, that are the Shiga-like toxin. So itself it does not involve. In the last, we have the enteroaggregative E. coli or EAEC. And what is the mechanism of the enteroaggregative E. coli? It will cause, and from name you can easily remember, it will forms the aggregate, or it will forms the brick-like aggregates on the cell surface like this. This is the host cell, and it will cause the brick-like aggregates on the surface of the host cells, and it will cause the chronic watery diarrhea, and it does not invade because it will forms the aggregate like this. So here is all about the E. coli gastroenteritis or the E. coli diarrhea, that are mainly associated with the diarrheal diseases, and these strains are the pathogenic strain because it will cause the diarrheal diseases. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and share our channel. Thank you very much and take care.